Yeah, it's I think anytime you go through dynamic change, being part of a great, strong league is important. And you've got to have a great dynamic leader, and Tony Petitti is that as our commissioner. And just the strength of the brands in this league, between all of the different brands across the country that represent the Big Ten, we're in such a great position to navigate that change.
Can you outline what your first role is when you get back here in 2 weeks, like your first priority?
My first priority is to listen, to ask a bunch of questions. So I'll meet with all of our head coaches, I'll meet with all of our staff, and then I'll hit the road. I don't sit still well. And so I'll be on the road to meet with donors and supporters, our trustees, and I'll learn a lot. And that's I think it's the most important thing, particularly when you start one of these new opportunities. This is an incredible place. It's an incredible place with great tradition and history. And my job one is to learn all of that.
You come from some warm weather climes.
Yes.
Did you have to tell your family that spring hasn't arrived yet and it's June 4th?
You know what? It was 85 when we hit the tarmac yesterday, so we're doing great.
It's not the norm.
Thanks for bringing it.
Yeah, I'm glad to bring it, yeah.
I'm wondering, when you took the call from Kevin,
Yeah.
first of all, what did you know about Michigan State at that point? And what were maybe some of the first things you, as job candidate,
Sure.
that you wanted to find out?
There's a whole list of things you want to know, right? Some will talk about, some won't. But I think at the end of the day, the brand, the place, the history, learn about the town, right? East Lansing is just a great college town that we've learned a lot about in the last kind of couple of weeks here. But a lot of it came down to leadership, and I've gotten to know President Guskowitz over years. As the president of his former institution, he certainly knows what high-level intercollegiate athletics looks like at a championship level, and I have full faith and trust in him. And so when he made that call through the search firm, it was one of those, absolutely, and so certainly can tell you that there's lots more to learn, but it's a heck of a starting place.
You have a lot of experience, but you didn't become a full-time AD until about 3 years ago. Did it help that you came in and about when all these changes were starting to take place and you weren't somebody that, had been rooted in the old way?
I'll just say that taking this new changes in stride and finding the opportunity in those changes is probably the most important part of my job right now. And all of our colleagues across the country, right? These are, we're on the precipice of transformative change in college athletics and change we need, right? I think as we move forward, hopefully, into the post-House settlement era, we're going to look for a structure that's got new transparency, new levels of consistency across the board, and that's good for college athletics. And so diving into that is really important.
Jay, of your 20 predecessors, you're one of the few that doesn't have a Spartan pedigree or a Spartan tie. Can that be a good thing?
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'll tell you, I've certainly worked at a lot of different institutions where I might not have had a tie before, and we've been able to be pretty successful, so it'll work out.
How long has it been just Jay?
So it started third grade, right? 3 Jasons. I wasn't the brightest, so I went with the shortest, and it's been that way ever since. Ever since.
You signed your name Jay.
Yep. There was a period in there where it was J-A-Y for a little while, but, we mostly just the J.
What does innovation look like in a broader sense? You talked about it out there.
Sure. Innovation particularly applied in college athletics. So we're going to look at new and different ways to approach this industry, right? So whether it's revenue, new opportunities for revenue, look at the way we arrange staff, right? As we look at new and different requirements to be successful in intercollegiate athletics, you're going to have to find new and different ways to serve our coaches and our student athletes so that they can do their jobs really well.